Well, hello and welcome to Soap Secrets. It's another week of showbiz and celebrity gossip in the soaps, and Claire Ruck is joining me to talk all things Casualty. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Hannah.
Okay, so we are going to talk Casualty first this week rather than Holby. And this week's episode starts with Rash being kidnapped. Nothing like starting with a bang.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Rash is kidnapped in the middle of a residential street. It's just a street like you and I live on, and suddenly this car pulls up and these men get out and they're wearing these really scary kind of Halloween-y masks. They catch him, he's really frightening. They put a sack over his head and pop him in the boot of the car and take him to a disused warehouse, Hannah.
Oh my Why? Why?
Well, it all becomes clear. So we all know that Rash has got himself mixed up with this drug gang. So fearing for his life, it becomes clear that Hafsa has been really badly injured and needs urgent medical attention, Hannah. Now, Hafsa is, she's quite high up in this drugs organisation, but she is one of the few women up there, and it's really run by men, and there's been a row over money, isn't there, always in drugs gangs? And they have done something really horrible to her. They've beaten her up. But then she had this lovely long hair and they've shorn it off really badly with scissors. So she's got this really ugly, choppy cut and a couple of black eyes. And then they've really quite nastily cut her arm. And Rash is, he's really frightened that they've nicked an artery. It's bleeding. It is bleeding quite heavily. He says, quite rightly, he can't treat her in this unhygienic, disused warehouse, of course, and she needs to go to hospital, but she is refusing to go because this is the kind of stuff, Hannah, you can't hide from the police, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, it's a massive storyline, isn't it, here?
Yeah, yes. He is now way in over his head. This isn't just treating small cuts that, need stitching and stuff. This is life-threatening. And he says, no. And as an added incentive, her henchmen bring young Rayan to the warehouse and threaten him. He has been trying to save Rayan and try and get him out of the drug gang to, go back to school, to get qualifications, to have a life outside of a drugs gang. So can Rash save Rayan, and can he save Hafsa? And if he can't save Hafsa, what will the police say when they find out?
Yeah, well, I can only imagine. On a lighter note, though, we've got comedian Rosie Jones returning as Pauline this week, haven't we?
Yes. So we've seen Pauline before. We saw her character about 3 months ago. She had a run-in with paramedic Jan. Now, Pauline suffers from cerebral palsy, and last time we saw her, she was injured while she was drunk. But, this week we see a cleaned-up Pauline who has fallen and hurt her knee. She's brought into ED. And I don't think Jan can quite believe, Hannah, that she is, she's not drunk and that she's cleaned her act up. And Dylan, my favourite doctor, Hannah, my favourite doctor, he treats her and he's so lovely. He's so lovely. And he's got a very deadpan way of delivering his lines to patients, and he's really good about it. And he soon gets it out of her, Hannah, that she's 7 months pregnant. So this is why she's cleaned her act up. And we know Dylan, he's a doctor through and through, and he believes in healthcare. And he says he realises she hasn't had any pregnancy checks, and he says, no, you need midwife appointments. You need doctors' help in pregnancy unless you're going to give birth, without medical assistance, which most people don't wish to do. So yes, he organises all of these midwife appointments, and this really upsets Pauline, Hannah. We don't know why at the moment, but she's getting really upset. How could you do that? And then we see social services turn up, and we learn more of her backstory. Will Pauline be allowed to keep her baby?
Really?
Yes. I think really this is key to why she was drinking those three or 4 months ago. It's really key. This is really sad because she wants this baby desperately. This is why she's hidden her pregnancy. But social services get involved, and there is something in her past that means that social services may well take her baby away. But Dylan's fighting for her. He's really fighting for her to be allowed, with obviously support, to bring her daughter up.
Gosh, that's quite a big storyline there, though. Moving on to Holby. What a week. We see more of Eli's private life this week, don't we?
Yes, we do, Hannah. So we know that Eli and his wife Amelia have been going through the exhausting rounds of IVF. And this week Amelia shares good news with Eli that she's pregnant, and that's absolutely super, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good news. Really good news.
This is Holby, so there's a big fly in the ointment, a big fat one.
Of course there is.
big fat one.
What is it?
Well, Amelia's tumour has come back and she is in the study for the proton beam therapy. She swears she feels much better, but what impact will her pregnancy news have on her tumour treatment?
Oh, that's a really big storyline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you do hear of women, who become pregnant and have decided whether to delay treatment, or I've read stories where babies have had to be, come early. They've made them come early, so the treatment. This is a big storyline, I think, for Holby.
It is a big storyline because you can just tell from Amelia, she's going to continue with this pregnancy. She's not going to give up this baby for her protein beam therapy and being part of the study. She's simply not. She's too emotional about it. She's come this far to having a baby. She's gone through all that agonising, all the pain, all the masses of failed IVF. She's had so much pain. She's just not going to give it up.
Yeah, no, it isn't. I mean, they've come that far. It's kind of, I suppose, especially with IVF, that's something they've chosen to do as well. So, and it's worked, and they've made a conscious decision to do something, I guess. And Josh, Josh has been on a really rocky road for a long time, but he starts his first group therapy session.
Yes, he wasn't very happy about going. He's been a bit blokey. Some men find it very difficult to talk about their feelings, and he's trying to skip it, and his partner Ange keeps reminding him, and even Eli reminds him, and he was really banking on Eli saying no, you're too busy to go. So he ends up late, typical, and he gets in there and he bonds with fellow attendee Claudia, and they both really refuse to take the session seriously. I think if I'm being fair to Josh, he's the only guy in there, and they clap him for attending. And I don't think that was the right thing to do. I think they should have just left him. Whether he was male or female was irrelevant. It was the fact that he's suffering from bulimia. And I know a lot of men don't wish to talk about bulimia, but to single Josh out in this way, I think when he was already nervous, has just compounded his hate of going to this therapy session. So he doesn't take it seriously, and when Ange asks did it go well, he lies.
Okay,
so what will it take?
That's not good, is it? I mean, if you're going to go for therapy, the whole point is presumably the complete honesty and transparency.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And there's also some sad news for Dom, isn't there? Because Carole is admitted after having yet another stroke.
I know. This one's really, really sad. Carole is played by the lovely Julia Deakin, and we all love Carole. And yes, she was never going to get better, but she's got dementia, and she had a stroke, and now she's had another stroke, and she's very, very, very ill. Hannah, very ill, and Dom is sticking his head in the sand about it. But it's left to his birth mother. This is an odd triangle. So his birth mother, Ange, to tell Dom that his adoptive mother is dying. So we know that Ange had Dom when she was a teenager, really, and lovely Carole adopted Dom and brought him up. So and then obviously in later life, Dom discovered that Ange was his birth mother. So Ange has to be there for her son to support him while his adoptive mother Carole is fading.
That's really sad, isn't it? There's lots of storylines going on in Holby as it runs to its finale, I guess. Okay, well, that is everything in the hospital soap news, but we will be back next week with more.